Hi people. Today we are going to look at how to checkmate with knight and bishop. I don't know how you'd get to that position, but it's a good thing to know. Like all other checkmates, you must force the enemy king towards an edge by making a cage or a wall with all of our pieces. We want to have our knight and bishop near each other on the same colored squares. This way the knight is able to control the opposite colored squares as the bishop, making a wall. And like this. These are all typical ways for the bishop and knight to stand near each other. Our king comes in to take away squares and to defend the two pieces. You have to be very careful on where you move your pieces because there's a chance the enemy king can slip out and go towards the center. Now let's speed it up to where we have the enemy king up against the edge. From here you're going to want to force the enemy king to the same colored corner as your bishop. If you were to be the one defending, you'd run towards the opposite colored corner. This is the position you're going to want. Opposition with the knight in between, and the bishop behind the king on that diagonal with the arrow. As you can see, the bishop and knight are on the same colored squares. How do we force our enemy king to the corner? Well, we have to make a sort of W shape with our knight on those squares. Now let's get started. It's black to move, and they obviously want to go away from the dark square corner, so they run towards the light one. Our knight already controls the corner square, so the black king has to come back, so we just play a waiting move and then take away the B8 square with our bishop. King to D8 is the only move, and here is where we start the W. Knight to D5 to control the E7 square so that the enemy king doesn't slip out through there. If the enemy king decides to go back, we continue the next move in the W. Giving a check, forcing the king more towards the corner. Take up opposition, and again. Almost the same position as before, opposition with the knight in between, and we just need the bishop on the diagonal behind the king. The king goes back and we take away that square with the bishop. Now let's go back to the other position. If the enemy king goes towards the corner, we follow too with our king so that we can play knight to D7. If the enemy king plays F7 or D8, we continue with the W. Opposition, and we cut off the enemy king's escape squares. They move back and we cut off some more squares. Black moves back, but we move our bishop back in time to cut it off. Same position as before. Now we continue the same way as before with the W, bringing our king over and cutting off the escape squares. From here it's a mate in 4, we just bring our knight back, make a waiting move with our bishop, give a check with the knight, and lastly give checkmate. Practice with bots. You will see some cases that I didn't cover here, but if you remember how the knight and bishop are best arranged when pushing the enemy king towards the edge, how the position you want looks once the enemy king is on the edge, the W process, and giving checkmate in the corner, then you'll probably know enough already to take care of the extra cases. The more you practice, the easier it gets. Now for the people who come to watch these weekly videos regularly, videos are going to be every 2 weeks now. School recently started and calculus is kind of kicking me around the dirt already, so school is gonna take up a bit of my time and won't be able to focus on these videos as much. But other than that, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you're still here. Bye people.